Okay. Uh, this is interesting. Now, this is actually the second time I'm making a video discussing this topic. I already made one. I'm sure some of you guys already know this, but I already made a video discussing this topic, but I ended up finding out that the video didn't have any sound. Now I'm sitting there wondering why did this video not have any sound. So before I started recording this video, I checked OBS and it turns out that it wasn't recognizing my microphone. How that happened, I don't know. I didn't do anything to OBS. I left it alone, which should like that problem never should have happened, but then again, this isn't the first time this happened with OBS where it just doesn't recognize my microphone. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, OBS. You're absolutely just fantastically reliable software. Anyway, this is actually so like I said, this is my second time making this video, so I'm not going to just do everything that I did in the first video because I don't think I even need to, but I'm just gonna give you guys a quick recap as to what happened, and then I'll give you guys just a quick recap on my thoughts that I already mentioned in the first video. But I also have something else here with me, and this is probably a blessing in disguise because we're getting ready for this video, I did find something else that might shine some light as to what happened here with this project. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, again, like I said, quick recap. The creators of Avatar The Last Airbender have left the production of the live action adaptation. They will no longer be involved in the live action show that is going to be on Netflix. Okay, yes. Um, I know that one of the reasons why anyone was even remotely looking forward to this project is because the creators were actually going to be heavily involved in this live action adaptation, because the last time we saw live action Avatar anything, it was absolutely fucking terrible. I mean, seriously, genuinely horrible. Like, people now are trying their best to forget that movie even exists. And so when we first heard about another live action Avatar The Last Airbender, people of course were worried, but then of course the news came out that this time, no, the creators are going to be involved. This time they're going to be showrunners. So people thought, even though a lot of people still wanted absolutely no Avatar live action anything, people were still apprehensive, but most people were still willing to relent because they thought, okay, well, maybe if the original creators are involved, then at least it'll remain somewhat faithful to the original source material. But then, of course, this news came out. And ever since this news came out, a lot of people, I'm willing to bet pretty much everyone in the fandom are pretty much saying, you know what, at this point you might as well cancel it. Just cancel it, Netflix. Don't even put this project out, okay? Don't even, like, seriously, just don't. And for a lot of people who might be saying, well, wait a minute, what about all the work they already did on the project? No, listen, you don't understand. They haven't even started filming anything yet. Like, they're still in the pre-production phase. Like, they're still in the phase where they're writing out the scripts. They still haven't started filming anything. They haven't even cast this thing yet. So they could still go ahead and say, you know what, guys, we, as much as we wanted to make this project happen, considering the fact that it's been 2 years, yes, 2 fucking years since the show was announced, and the fact that we are still discussing the script, the fact that we still haven't even cast this thing yet, I think it might be time to just cut our losses and say, you know what, maybe this was just never gonna work out. Okay, so we're just gonna end it. And you know, if Netflix still wants Avatar content, they could still this time, well, actually, considering what they said, it's possible that they'll never work with Netflix ever again. You know, maybe they could still ask them, hey, listen, we know this whole live action thing didn't work, but if you guys are interested, we are willing to work with you on another animated show. Okay, like, again, and you know, considering you guys already have experience working on an animated show, and hopefully we won't Although again, if you've read their statements, again, you already know this is possibly never going to happen. Which, by the way, I'll leave the link to both our statements in the description box, so you can go check it out yourself. I'm not going to go through it here like I did in the first video. Um, we are willing to work with you and fund like an animated series if you, whether you want to continue the story, although after Korra I don't think anyone wants the story to continue, but you could just make another animated series on whatever it is you want it to be. It could be a previous Avatar, which I think a lot of people would prefer at this point. But no, it's just it's I don't think that's going to happen. Again, if you've read the statements, you already know why. So basically, what they ended up saying is, look, when we first signed onto this project, we did it because Netflix themselves promised that they are going to support our vision on this project. But then you read the statements and by I think it was Brian, who said that there was no follow through on that promise. That they promised them that we are here and we are going to support your vision for this project, but there was no follow through on that project. Now that tells me that Netflix themselves wanted to do some things with this project that they themselves said, you know what, like guys, this is not going to work. Like again, we're all for like adding things, we're all for changing things, some things, minor changes, but the changes that you're asking us to make, like it's going to make this a project that's completely divorced from the source material, and fans are not going to be happy about this. Like they are not going to like this. And Netflix was like, no, 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 we got to do this. And eventually it got to the point where it was like, look, guys, okay, it's obvious that you guys pretty much were bullshitting when it came to your promise of, supporting our vision. It's clear that you guys are more interested in doing your own thing, and you guys just want the Avatar: The Last Airbender name, and you're just interested in turning this into another one of your shitty YA live action shows, which, in all honesty, nobody's gonna remember in 2 years after you put out the first season. Now, what do I say? Now, normally you would think that, well, maybe, like, okay, if you think about it, the Avatar creators have never actually worked on a live action show. Like, they've only worked on an animated show. So it's possible that maybe, like they wanted to do some things that, like would have worked in an animated setting, but wouldn't have worked so much in a live action setting. Well, again, I consider that, of course, I consider that situation. But then, of course, I found out this. Now, I do have to be honest. I tried to look for the original source of this news. I don't know if this is something that's if this is reliable at all, but this is just what I found. So just take it with a grain of salt. It's possible that this plays a part into why the original creators left. And I found this. This is a tweet put out by you can see the name right there. And they posted this. Now again, let me just say, I don't know if this is credible. Okay, so if you guys can find the link to this, please post it in the comments. But or if this isn't true, just letting you guys know right now. For all I know, this was probably made up by someone. But apparently these are reasons as to why the creators left. So first of all, there's this the whole there's that fucking word, diversity of cast. Oh boy. Okay, so listen to this. Aside from reining in the budget, which this is considering the source material is something that you shouldn't do, because we all knew that going into this you're gonna need a pretty big budget, because how else are you gonna capture the effects of the show? Like one of the things that people loved so much about the show was the bending, the world that you were living in. And you needed a budget in order to be able to bring that world to life. Netflix also wanted the ability to consider some white actors for this series. This was a non-starter for the creators, who were insisting that not a single white actor be on the series. Now, let me just stop right there. Now, I know that on its own sounds pretty bad. We get that. However, if you know the show, you understand why they say that, because like there are no, like all of the characters in this series are based on different ethnic people. Like again, Aang, like the air nomads are mostly based on Tibetan monks. The water tribe are mostly based on on an Inuit tribe. So again, when they say they were insisted that not a single white actor be cast on the series, they can understand why, because you remember what happened the last time they they cast white actors to play the leads of the show, which again on its own wouldn't have been bad if the acting was at the very least good, but it wasn't good. The acting sucked. The script sucked. Just okay. I'm not gonna go on to talk about the that piece of shit. But here's another reason. Now this I think is the reason why they probably left. Probably the main reason, and that's this: the overall tone of the show. Now I have no problem with them changing the tone of the show a little bit in order for them to be able to do what they could not do um, on the original show because it was on Nickelodeon. So they had to they had to do things that they had to put aside things that they could not do in the original show. Although if you watch the original show, like they were able, like there were some things that they did in that show that I was surprised that they actually got away with, considering this was on Nickelodeon. I mean, again, if you watch the original show, you know what I'm talking about. But again, you read this and you think, okay, Netflix, like what the fuck are you doing? Like what are you doing? Listen to this. While budget and casting issues can usually find a middle ground, the biggest issue by far was the fact that Netflix and the creators could not unify on a common overall tone for the show. And this part, when I read this, honestly, well, all of it, but this part in particular pissed me off. It said this, listen to this: Netflix currently wants to age up Aang, Zuko, Katara, and Sokka. Okay, why? 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 See, that to me just tells me that you weren't interested in making a live action adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender. You were just interested in making another fucking YA teen fucking Riverdale show. Like, you just wanted to make another Riverdale. No one wants another Riverdale. There's already, Riverdale already exists. If people want Riverdale, they can just go watch Riverdale. Don't turn fucking Avatar into Riverdale just because people like that show. Like, oh my god. And this, they also want to separate the live action series from the animated one by creating a darker, mature tone with more romance, sex, and blood. Like, why? Why this specifically? And the romance, look, okay, okay, let me just say something here. Yes, there was romance in Avatar The Last Airbender. There was, specifically between Katara and Aang, Katara and Jet. You had, of course, Zuko and Mai. You had, of course, Sokka and Suki. And then, of course, you had Sokka and Yue. Yes, there was romance, but here's the thing. Romance wasn't the main driving force of the show. That's one of the reasons why people hated the first season of The Legend of Korra, because they focused so much time on the fucking love triangle, which was fucking awful. Like, even hardcore defenders of The Legend of Korra are gonna tell you that they fucking hated the love triangle. Like, that's the one thing that fans universally hated about The Legend of Korra, or at least the first season. They just, or you know what, I'm willing to bet the romance in general. Okay, people were just not happy with the way they handled it, because it was bad. While yes, there was romance in Avatar The Last Airbender, it wasn't, like, it didn't take over a majority of the show. Like, the majority of the show was still focused on the story. It was still focused on developing the characters. It was still focused on world building, which is my favorite part of Avatar The Last Airbender, the fucking world building. Like, holy shit, it was good. DiMartino and Konietzko disagreed and remained adamant that the show remained aimed at kids. While the two creators did each release broad statements explaining their exit from the show, Netflix released a statement as well, declaring that they will continue as planned. Now, you can't see the whole thing right here, but I do have another variety, or excuse me, I do have another article here that that hopefully makes the message a lot clearer, and that's right here. We have complete respect and admiration for Michael and Brian and the story they created in the Avatar animated series, BS. Although they have chosen to depart the live action project, we are confident in the creative team and their adaptation. Well, I'm not. I'm not. I don't believe they're gonna stay true to the source material at all. I think they're just gonna turn this into another fucking tween drama show. Now, you might be thinking that them saying they wanted it aimed at kids. You might be thinking, well, then how are like other audiences gonna enjoy it? But again, you keep forgetting that the original show was aimed at kids. The reason why this is so popular is that they made a series for kids, but they didn't talk down to them. Like they knew that this was aimed at kids, but they didn't have problems in incorporating elements into the show that they felt like kids weren't too old to watch. And that's one of the reasons why everyone loved the show, was because even though this was aimed at kids, you can clearly tell that they weren't talking down to them, that adults could watch it or older audiences can watch it and still enjoy it, because they saw, holy shit, like this is a show that talks about war to kids. And when you have any piece of entertainment that talks about war, that's something that anyone can enjoy. That's something anyone can understand. And that's why the show remains so popular even to this day. But no, Netflix is insistent. Again, if this is indeed true, again, I tried to find the original source of this, but I couldn't find it. So, again, if you can find the original link to it, please leave it in the comments section. If you can find it. Netflix seemed like they were more interested in just making this another show that's mostly aimed at adults. Kids are going to look at that and say, like, they're not going to understand anything. Or it's going to be made clearly not for kids, you know? Like, it's clearly aimed at audiences like 16 and up or 18 and up or 21 and up. And I don't know. It's just, it sounds like it would have been absolutely fucking terrible. And if this is indeed the case, I do not blame the creators for leaving at all. Now, I don't, like I said, just cancel it, okay? Just cancel it at this point. This is gonna be fucking terrible. No one wants this. I mean, people are even, look at this, they're even, the hashtag cancel Netflix ATLA live action is trending right now. No one wants this anymore. Netflix, just cancel it, okay? No one wants this anymore. The only reason why you had any goodwill at all was because the original creators were involved. Well, now that they're not involved, no one wants this. Just cancel it. Just cancel it now. Cut your losses and leave. So that's all I have to say on this, and hopefully there won't be any problems with this one. So with all of that said, those are my thoughts, guys. As always, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to like, share, and if you want to support the channel, subscribe. And also, if you have subscribed to this channel, again, let me just say thank you so much. I highly appreciate your support. I hope you will continue to support my channel and my content in the future. And if you watched all the way up until the end of this video, seriously, you are awesome. Thank you so much for helping me get the watch time. Remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves as always, because that is the most important thing at the moment. And I hope you guys will join me for my next video. Bye.